Minecraft challenges have been created since the game came out all the way back when. Even today, there are newest challenges that are big on YouTube like the 100 days or 1 block challenges. For those unfamiliar with the concept of a Minecraft challenge map, these are worlds or ideas that place the player in a difficult or unique survival situation. Different from the traditional approaches to playing the game, for this video we're going to revisit some older challenge maps that were popular in Minecraft's earlier stages and even today, while also finding out whether they still hold up over a decade later. These are challenges that are over 10 years old now and serve as a time capsule of a different era. I'm going to go in order of when they were released, starting with the classic Survival Island. At the beginning of Minecraft's beta stage, Ashian would post an extremely influential map that still lives on today. This Survival Island map completely changed the core of survival experience. Consisting of only one tree, some dirt, and an army of sand, it would prove to be a huge adjustment from what others are used to. The world that would be near limitless is now confined to an island the size of a few render chunks. On the surface, there isn't much to see, however, just mining below, the player can expect to see more than they anticipated. A labyrinth of caves, structures, and riches lay below as reward if obstacles are overcome. This map would inspire many other maps and spin-offs like it, and would even form an entire subgenre of survival island seeds to explore. Less than 2 months after the Survival Island's release, a much more difficult challenge would be created. In early 2011, Nux would make what is possibly the first ever challenge seed, known as the 404 challenge. After setting the seed as 404, the player would spawn in what seems to be a normal, uneventful world, but near the player's spawn point will be a large patch of gravel. Mining a block of it will reveal an entrance to a dark cavern. The challenge is you can gather whatever you want in the world until the sun goes down, but once it does, you must delve into that cavern with whatever supplies you have gathered on that one day, never to return to the surface again. Once you go down, the player needs to navigate the dark, seemingly infinite, unforgiving, and mob-filled cavern until they eventually die. Leaving the way you came from is not allowed, however, mining around the cave for visible ores is allowed. In addition, the player can receive a score by completing the achievements. These are some details that show just how difficult of a challenge this is. No using torches but other light sources are allowed. If the player dies, the challenge is over. The difficulty must be set to either normal or hard, and oh, the cave systems in the earlier versions are extremely dark, so much so that it places modern day Batman movies to shame. However, the next challenge requires less endurance and more patience and thoughtfulness. This is a beloved map that everyone has almost certainly played in some form, the original Skyblock. A world that will challenge the player's knowledge of the mechanics of the game blocks and world. Spawning on an L-shaped piece of land with essential goods and a single tree overlooking the void below. Every decision at the start of the challenge matters significantly. If one player dies with vital resources or if a tree drops all of its saplings in the void, it is game over and impossible to progress.
This is what I'm thinking of your tree! Take that! No! No! No!
By making a cobblestone generator, an infinite amount of blocks can be created, making it possible to create their own worlds and populate it with buildings looking like it came straight out of the Flintstones. With other potentially infinite resources like wood, wool, and so on, the possibilities are endless in scope. Later on in 2011, another very unique experience was created that shrunk the player down to the size of an ant. On Christmas Day of 2011, MG would create a world inside of a world with a vertical spin to it. An ant farm enclosure with lots of resources embedded in it to survive with many challenges to overcome in the process. Players must carefully maneuver through steep and rough terrain while completing challenges like finding all 8 diamonds and destroying all 18 mob spawners within the enclosed structure. Once every challenge has been completed, you are encouraged to break out of the ant farm and explore the secrets within the room you were once confined to. While all of the worlds we have covered have a landmass to explore, you can argue this next one brings a very different definition to the word explore. Sethbling would release a Skyblock-inspired survival map, SkyGrid. This would be formed out of random environmental blocks and be spaced out 4 blocks away from each other. This constantly keeps the player on their toes, knowing that using parkour is a necessity if they ever want to progress. Occasionally, a chest can be found and hold useful resources, or a spawner can be found for an XP farm. This map is certainly going to cause deaths for many, especially at the start with a very few resources to use to survive a dangerous fall. The overworld is not the only dimension that has this challenging block layout. Once venturing through a nether portal, you can expect to see nether resources scattered about too. It is possible to defeat the Ender Dragon in this world, but unfortunately the end dimension remains to have its normal generation structure. Minecraft Underground would be released by Minecraft PG 5. It would prove to be an overhaul to the mining experience that's already present in vanilla Minecraft, except this time you are trapped in the mines. Featuring new resources to gather within the walls, a variety of dungeons to overcome, along with many twists and turns that could prove dangerous. From spawning in a large room with very few resources, a few chests of supplies would help the player navigate the dark caverns below and allow them to eventually conquer the entire map. There are only 2 rules to follow. Do not try to escape using any bugs or tricks, and do not build nether portals in the nether to escape the underground. This map also features many challenges that will help keep the player occupied for a very long time, including one that has you ruin a friendship before then, a few minutes later repairing it with a romantic candlelit dinner with steak and building a worship statue of them afterwards. Survival Island, 404, Skyblock, Ant Farm Survival, SkyGrid, and Underground. These are not just some old challenges that have provided some great memories on a very creative spin to the core experience of a vanilla world. These are all very different experiences that provide difficult obstacles to overcome to receive a sense of accomplishment. Scenarios that can be experienced if burnt out of the classic game modes, or for those that want to seek new experiences to play the game by themselves or with others. After revisiting these classics, I will definitely say they hold up really well and in my own personal opinion are better than the challenges of the last few years. But what do you think? What maps out there have you played? What are some of your experiences with them? What other challenges should be mentioned? Feel free to speak your mind in the comments. I appreciate you sticking around this far. If you have enjoyed and want to see videos similar to this one, be sure to subscribe and or like the video. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and of course, have a good one.